so much.
That was a crazy.
everybody, here we are. Another week of NFL action is behind us. And hold on, I haven't unmuted you yet. Here you go. You're unmuted now. And so we're back here for another episode of the Muffed Punt Podcast. Sorry that we missed last week, but we had some things that we had to take care of. But we are back now, and we're definitely super excited to have another week with all of you in the house. And hopefully we get some people in chat this week. But yeah, how you guys doing? How you guys happy to be back?
Love being back. It's always nice after we miss some time. Even if it was just to joke around and have some fun with the three of us. It's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing with the YouTube channel. It's always been a great excuse to hang out with my friends. Sorry, Terry, what were we going to say?
No,
Who cares what he was going to say?
Paul's definitely back. He's ready.
Always ready. So we were going to go through a couple of topics this week. Paul had them for us. He had a little starter topic for us before we got started, which I thought was an interesting topic considering two of us are Eagles fans. And so we've had a little bit of experience with this topic that he wants to go on about. So I'll let you go ahead and let everybody know what's the warm-up topic for today, Paul.
All right. So Terry and obviously Brandon, since you're here, you can answer too. I don't know about you, but I'm in a good amount of NFL groups on Facebook, just to see what people have to say. And sometimes I'll catch some news if I'm not paying attention to a sports site. And I still, to this point, I don't know about you guys, but I see that Lamar Jackson is a great running back and he can't throw the ball. And he needs to be moved because he doesn't know how to play quarterback, and the Ravens are never going to be successful with him. But on the other hand, those exact same people are like, now Michael Vick, on the other hand, that guy, he could play some quarterback. He could throw the ball. He could run it. He could thread it 50 yards downfield between a corner and a safety and blah, blah, blah. So I did a little research because I remember Michael Vick as being like the first quarterback of his type that was really a mobile guy that could throw the ball but wasn't great. Like I remember when his little brother Marcus went to, I think it was Virginia Tech, which is where Mike Vick had gone, and he had much better passing numbers, but he wasn't quite the playmaker or anything that Vick was. So I did a little digging. How many seasons, Terry, do you think that Michael Vick had where he passed above 60% as a starting quarterback?
He's not trying to pick on you. He just already told me the answer.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Okay.
Because Brandon was there.
Above 60%.
Above 60%.
Career
as a starter. Okay. How many seasons?
Like two.
One season he passed for like 62.5%, so it wasn't even that high. And like I picked 60 because I think that we can all pretty much say that if you can't throw 60% nowadays, you're probably not going to be long for the quarterback position in the NFL. How many do you think Lamar Jackson has so far?
He's got a few. I know he's got one.
He's got two. He's got two. And this year, come on, you watch that game. He's the first quarterback ever to throw above 80% and over 400 yards in a game.
Dude, he was insane.
But they're calling him a running back. I don't know if I agree with that.
His game's evolving in front of our eyes. I feel like he's starting to get it in the passing game. And dude, he just shredded the Colts for a quarter last night, and look what they came back from. They were down 22-3, and he like all of a sudden, like everybody on the field was like, he was just threading needles to them, and then still making plays with his legs. But he's going to surpass Vick in that running style quarterback. But he's got so much potential with his arm, and his arm is so strong too.
Yeah, 100%. Like I told Brandon, I'm sure that Michael Vick could throw a dog here or there, but I don't think he can throw a football very well. Like, come on now. Like, that's just Mike Vick is not in the same category as Lamar Jackson.
When Paul brought up the topic to me before the show, I had just said, I think a lot of people are just misremembering due to the fact that Vick was such an anomaly when it came to having that ability to both run and pass the ball, where nowadays you've had several times over, even Josh Allen, you got, a whole different amount of people that can do it now. At that hurdle that he had in that game was pretty great this last weekend. So I think there's different things that you can see now are different skill sets. Where if you look back at it, Vic was such an anomaly at the time. I think people maybe remember him being better than he really was, and that's from somebody who I don't think. I'm not a Vic apologist, but I think he definitely served his time when it came to all the other stuff. So
Yeah, I think you're completely right. I think that people just are romanticizing what Michael Vick was. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, he was the single best Madden thing that ever happened to the game. That one year where he was a 99 and he could be like running to his left and throw back to his right. Like it was crazy. And
Just
he
roll
was
out and take off with them every time, or roll out
exactly.
and act like you're going to take off with them, and then somebody's wide open downfield.
Yeah. And I mean, he was a fine quarterback, but he doesn't compare with some of the great ones that we have in the league that can run and pass right now.
I agree, and I mean, like you saw him evolve over his career in the NFL. Like he always was a threat on the run, but I mean, he got better as a passer, but much later. I feel like Lamar's way earlier in that phase where he's going to take it to a new level, and it's going to be fun to watch. To talk about the crop of quarterbacks that like we have right now, like Josh Allen, uh, Herbert, like Mahomes, obviously is already there. I mean, Kyler Murray. I mean, he's not quite as consistent, but he makes some crazy plays. So we're getting to see like a new guard, in quarterbacks in the NFL, and it's really fun because they're really good.
How wrong were all of us about Justin Herbert having a sophomore slump this
Oh, I did draft him in fantasy, so
yeah, well, you can eat a dick. So
he was. I will say he wasn't my target, but yeah. But he's. I mean, look at he's doing. It's crazy.
Justin Herbert is insane. I mean, think a couple of years ago when we saw what Patty Mahomes was doing, and we're like, oh, no one is going to be able to duplicate the stuff that he does. And now we've got Justin Herbert, who, like, I mean, maybe slightly different, but is replicating that type of thing. We've got Josh Allen, we've got Kyler Murray, you've got shades of it from an old Matt Stafford kind of emerging as but I mean
once a week maybe Tom Brady.
Yeah, he's hot right now.
So hot right now.
So hot.
But I mean, just quarterback play this year has been insane. I don't know if it's that the defenses that they're playing have been terrible, because I haven't sat down to try to break down any film since we haven't really talked about that yet. But either quarterbacks are just insane, the rules are insane, or I don't know what it is, but I mean the sheer number of young quarterbacks that we have in the crop. I mean, Baker Mayfield looks good for crying out loud. Like that's something that I don't think any of us were gonna think to say.
Yeah.
He's
Do
an,
you
he's
guys
an
think
above average game manager.
Like Tom Brady, that game manager,
Yeah.
I was thinking a little bit about the warm-up topic that you had with the whole Mike Vick situation, and it just brought to mind, like, I remember when he first came onto the team, and Andy kind of made him earn his way onto the team. Like, every once in a while, he might come on and do like a run play here or there, but he kind of had to earn it. I wonder with some of these other guys, like with Fields and with Trey, if they would have benefited a little bit more from that. I don't think with Fields they really had the chance because obviously the coach and the GM are kind of doing everything they can for their jobs at this point. But when in San Fran, I think he would have maybe I think Trey would benefit a little bit more from allowing Jimmy just to kind of take it and maybe bring Trey in once in a while to do what he does best and just scramble with the ball. What do you guys think? Do you think it would have benefited more from earning it a little bit more like Andy did with Vic, or do you think what they're doing is all right? Because it's these seem to be a lot earlier than what I remember in the past.
I think I don't care what anybody says. Like, I still think this is a bad crop of quarterbacks that we have this year. Like, of the five, Mac Jones looks okay. Trevor Lawrence I mean, he shows every once in a while that he knows what he's doing, but he's stuck in an impossible situation being in Jacksonville, not just because of Urban Meyer, but I mean, Jacksonville. um, I don't think that Justin Fields is going to really do anything aside from this week against the Packers, because the Packers don't know how to defend against a running quarterback. So watch out. Justin Fields might break the single game rushing record this week. Um, but Trey Lance, I mean, he doesn't look good at all. So I I I think that maybe the Niners should have traded for BDN and gotten like Nick Foles as a backup, because I think that Trey needed to sit for a little while and not even be on the active roster the way that they do with some rookie quarterbacks, just to give him some time, because he played one game in college last year. That's it. One. He doesn't have the experience. He came from, I mean, we've covered everything about Trey. He went to North Dakota State, so he played FCS, so Division 1 AA, which isn't really a thing, but blah. Anyway, so inferior talent. He's going to take a little bit to adjust to the game just because of lack of experience. So I think these quarterbacks are being brought on too fast, and I think that we might have one, maybe two of these guys once they move on from their initial franchise, the way that not Sam Bradford,
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold is doing now. I think that what they're doing is trying to save their job, but they're not going about it the right way. I think that they are acting much faster than what they should.
What about you, Terry?
I mean, I feel like in that situation, like what you said, Brandon, I think that would have been the smart decision, because I feel like Trey, like Paul said, he's coming from a small time school. He would benefit from having that time to sit back and like get comfortable with the NFL speed and the game and everything and all the complex defenses that he's coming up against. He's not used to seeing that kind of stuff. So I mean, when he goes out there and struggles, I mean that's shows that if the 49ers are trying to win now, then he's probably not the right guy to be the backup. He's the guy for the future. So after this season, you make you move on from Garoppolo or whatever you're going to do. But yeah, I don't know. I think like some guys are ready like earlier on, but I think for the most part, if you rush a guy out there, it's just and especially in the situations a lot of these guys are in where they're on like extremely bad teams, it's just gonna like kill their confidence and it's gonna just make it that much harder. So maybe in some ways it is better to ease them along.
I mean, we've had like two quarterback systems before, right? With like the Dallas Cowboys, I think did it one year before I think stalled, but like before they got into was it? And I think the Cowboys did it one year, and I think the Broncos did it one year. I could be wrong, but I mean, we've had teams that have tried like off and on two quarterback systems in the past. So I wonder if there's a way you could find that happy medium of having two guys be the off on starters depending on like a certain situation. But I don't know. I don't know in the modern NFL if you could really dedicate enough starting snaps and practice and all that stuff to two different guys to feel comfortable enough to do it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're saying, and I mean this could be part of the old school version of me, but I've always agreed with the saying, if you think you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one, and if you have a team like that, you're not going to do much.
I don't know. I think like just trying to like you got to get in a rhythm with a quarterback, and then if like you're going to try and keep flopping them off the field, bringing a guy in that's cold, it just breaks the rhythm of the game. You got to just stick with one guy. That's just I just feel that works better. I mean, the two quarterback system could potentially work in the right offense, the right system, but I feel like it's just too much when you need one guy needs to just get in there and play and then whoever's the better guy gets it. That's all.
I think it could work in college, because in college you can do it as a change of pace. Like you could have a quarterback like Lamar, and then you could have another quarterback. I'm not saying of the same, obviously, talent or caliber, but like Tom Brady, where he's more statuesque, going to stand in the pocket, going to throw the ball downfield, or you could have someone who's going to get out there and run. But the reason I think you can do that in college is because you don't have the athletes that you have. You don't have the intelligence. You don't have the reps. You don't have the same caliber of defensive coordinators that can sit there and tell you exactly what's going to happen. So I just, I don't think unless somehow you get like Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady on the same roster, but neither one of them is gonna want to sit there for half the game. So I,
Yeah.
I don't think it's something that could work in the NFL.
Well, I think we're sufficiently warmed up. What's our next topic there, Paul?
Well, we were kind of touching on the next little quarterback, so we hit that one. But what's up with the Chiefs? Do they suck now? Like, have they always been this bad, or or what's up? Like,
it's a
they're
mystery
terrible.
with that. Their defense just all of a sudden overnight. It seems like just I mean, their defense was pretty good at times last year. Um, they had some issues, but it's just like they're just terrible. Like I don't know what happened because they still have a lot of the same personnel. They're just getting they're just giving up so much yardage and so many big plays, and they can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. It's I think Chris Jones was hurt. Did he come back for the
Hmm.
game? He did come back for the game. So he
Oh
was
no, I
in
mean
there too.
I know he was hurt. I don't know if he played.
Okay.
Um I are you
But I
guys
mean, it's still just
surprised to
one
not
guy.
see them go after Gilmore? I was shocked that they didn't go after Gilmore to get him to shore up their cornerbacks for the playoffs. I mean, maybe they didn't feel like they could afford him in the long run, but I mean, to see a 6th round pick go, I didn't really expect the Birds to do it because they're not, they kind of have the cap space. I mean, they had like what, 50 mil in cap space. So I kind of maybe expected them to do it, but I think they still have quarterback hopes in the back of their mind. Like, but I was kind of surprised to not see the Chiefs go after him. What do you guys think?
It's not a this year 6th round pick. It's a next year, a 23
Yeah,
sixth
even
round
more
pick.
so
Yeah.
surprising.
And I don't know how they were able to do it because word was that they had released Gilmore. And then like a couple hours after he was released, they're like, "Oh, just kidding. We didn't release him. We traded him." So I want to know how that went into effect, but I can't believe that no one wanted to trade for him. I mean, who I would have taken a 4th or 5th round pick from this year and traded him. Like I heard the Packers didn't do it, but that was purely because of cap reasons. If they would have done it, then they wouldn't have had any money to bring anybody up from the practice squad if anybody got injured or anything along those lines. But I was surprised, and I mean maybe it's because he's 31 and he sat out last year for COVID, so people are
Hold
worried.
on. You're
What's
telling
up?
me the Packers couldn't just straight up cut Kevin King? And brought Gilmore onto the squad like right there. Like how much is Kevin King making this year?
$6 million. Why do you
I'm
try
sorry,
to
the
hurt me
thought
so
came to
much?
mind, so I was just I'm like, wait a minute, you don't have room. Why don't you just cut this dude?
Because his salary was fully guaranteed. He's got six
Ah.
million dollars in guaranteed money. The Packers had under 6 million total for what they have available left this year. So trust me, I would love that. Kevin King is I don't know. I, I don't have
We'll
words
say
for what
a
Kevin King is.
liability at best.
No, the liability would be an upgrade. um, it's but I mean the Packers secondary is so beat up right now. But
Well,
I
let's
mean,
flip flop our other topic since we're already right here. So, what happened this last weekend with the Bengals? You guys, it ended up being a really, really, really close game. Not so much. We'll get into the end part of it as a separate subject, but everything leading up to that, like what happened there?
where do you want to start?
Well, we know where we're going to end. It's a little hard to know where we're going to begin.
I think that we are seeing a peek into what life is going to be like when Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler next year. And I think that peak is that Matt LaFleur is on the same coaching ability level as Mike McCarthy. So
So you do blame him? You feel like at the end of the day, it's been his play calling that's really been the biggest problem for the Packers?
and some of it has to do with the play calling. The other is the decisions, like the in-game decisions, and the lack of the testicular fortitude, I guess you could say. But when you have a kicker who has missed 4 kicks on the day. Why are you doing things that are stupid and making him kick like another 50-yard field goal where you got lucky that it went through? It's his when you go back to the NFC Championship game and you go for the field goal instead of giving Rodgers the ball one more time to try to go for it. Like, I think that is an early look into what we're going to get. We're going to get someone who is going to try to play it safe, isn't going to trust his first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. And I think that had a lot to do with the fallout that has come from everything and why Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be a Packer anymore. What I think is going to suck more is that it's not just going to be Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams on the same different team next year. And that's a kick in the junk, let me tell you. I just,
You think the Steelers are going to be able to pull both of them?
Adams is going to go wherever Rodgers goes. And I'm a little torn. I haven't looked it up, but I heard that Rodgers has another year after this year that he has to stick with the Packers, but I thought that everything was voided, so this was his last year. So I'm not 100% on what Rodgers' contract situation is for next year. But wherever Rodgers goes, Adams is going to follow because they're like best friends. So yes, that's going to sting when you're arguably, for sure, a top 3 wide receiver in the league is gone and a top 7 quarterback in the league is gone. Like that's painful. I just, if Aaron Rodgers could despawn, that'd be great. Like, just exist only in Madden for the rest of time. And I don't want to watch you. I don't want to listen to you. You were such a little bitch. Like, I am, like, every time he gets sacked or injured, I am cheering. And then when I see him wincing in pain, I'm like, yes, is he done? Is he done? Like, I do not want him anywhere near a football field that matters to me ever again. And sheerly just because of how much of a little bitch he's been about everything.
So do you think with these new age coaches, it's a little like they're relying too heavily on analytics a bit, much like what baseball goes through, I feel like? Do you feel like it's that and not so much of relying on your personnel guys? Or what do you think it is that leads these new age guys to make these decisions?
I think it's interesting and kind of difficult to say because sometimes randomly in the middle of the field, LaFleur will go for it on 4th down when it's like 4th and 2 or 4th and 5. But sometimes when you're getting closer in, he won't. And when you're in a situation, I mean, Terry, it's just like the hot hand theory for basketball. When you've got a kicker who's that in his head and he hadn't missed a kick in like a year and a half, when you have him miss multiple kicks, because he missed an extra point early in the game, and then when he missed his first field goal, it's like, all right, maybe we should rely less on the kicking game. And then he goes on to miss field goals 2 and 3. So 4 missed kicks in one game, and you're still going to rely on that leg. Like, I'm going to take Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon or Devontae Adams or even Aaron Rodgers and just let them run downfield, get closer to the end zone. But to rely on someone who's missed 4 kicks in one game to make a 49-yarder, which isn't a gimme. I mean, everything under 50 should be like 80% made if you want to be an NFL kicker nowadays. But like, if you've missed that many kicks in one day, I do not trust the kicker.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
It's a lot of kicks to miss and then say, let's try it again for the win.
I know he missed those other ones that he shouldn't have missed, but I've got a feeling that this is the right one.
Yeah, his analytics. Well, he missed 4 in a row. He's due something.
He's due the big one.
I mean, the one he hit was right down the middle. I'll give him that.
Well, he had enough time to adjust for wind, so
yeah, right. Well, we put Paul through his pain. The early part of the game was certainly very painful for the Birds this last weekend. So, Terry, tell me about your thoughts with the Eagles and the Panthers game this last weekend.
So it was a pretty boring game up until probably like the very end of the third quarter. I mean, the Eagles couldn't get anything going on offense until They had to. The defense played pretty well. I thought they stepped up. I mean, we do have to take into account that it is Sam Darnold that we're playing against. He seemed to revert back to his old ways as soon as he got, some pressure on him and, some heat up the middle. He started making some bad throws, and Slay finally has has a pick. We finally got our first turnover, of the season. He had a good game. Um, yeah, it was a frustrating game until the end, and then they kind of got it going a little bit there, and Jalen, it was like Jalen was pretty terrible for most of the game until the fourth quarter, and then he kind of, and when it came to the clutch, he got the win. I mean, I don't think he looked great, but he's still progressing. So I'm still willing to give him some time, because he does make some really nice plays and throws. So I'll give him some time.
So I had a quick question for you then, and Brandon, this goes to you too. So if the season ended today, the Eagles have, I think it's 3 top 10 picks. Now, looking at the batch of college players that are coming up, it doesn't look like there's a clear cut first round, have to take him quarterback. I mean, we were talking just before the show about how Spencer Rattler, everyone's like, oh, this guy, he's going to be like a top 5 pick. He might end up in the transfer portal because it looks like he just lost his job to a freshman after the Red River game this week. So would you want them to spend a first round pick on an unknown quarterback, or do you want to roll with Jalen and try to put some more picks together? What is your guys' thought for going into next year?
I mean, personally, what I would do is you got to, at the end of the season, you see where everything lands out. But I mean, if Jalen plays pretty well the rest of the year, then you'd have to consider the fact that this is really going to be like his first full season as a starter, and he's showing, like, flashes of what he can do. Obviously, it's going to take some time to get acclimated to being a starting quarterback in the NFL. But
being in Philly, you guys never give
rather,
anyone a chance.
I actually am willing to give him a chance, but I would like to see those top, potentially 3 top 10 picks or top 15 picks, whatever they end up being. I would like to see them start rebuilding the defense, adding some good players on the line, or maybe another like kind of game breaking receiver. They need to add in a lot of different areas, and I feel like they're going to take all those picks, and they're going to try. They could try and make a trade with them. I mean, Deshaun's still out there. I mean, I don't know what that situation is, but they're thinking about it.
Would you
I feel
want
like
Deshaun?
I feel like, yeah, I would like to have him, but I think they're just going to give up an enormous amount, which you could look to build a team around the quarterback that you have. And who's to say Deshaun doesn't even want to come here? So I mean, who knows? I mean,
He
I think
doesn't.
he would be great with the new receivers we have. I mean, we could, but our offensive line is aging. Like, they're a lot of these guys aren't, like, Brandon Brooks gets hurt a lot. I mean, Kelsey's always there, but the Eagles have had so much injury problems on their line, defensive line. Brandon Graham's getting older. I feel like we don't have any linebackers. Also, like, they all suck. Like, they can't tackle anybody. Like, they're just awful. It's always when, like, we're getting the ball run on us, they're tackling guys like 7-8 yards downfield. Like, dude, you got to be coming up and making some plays. I mean, they make them sometimes, but they're not consistent, and they're not good tacklers. So, but I just feel like we need more talent on the roster overall. So I would rather have 3 potential players, position players, and not spend it on a quarterback, because I think that the whole team would benefit from that, especially if Jalen looks like he could be, a player.
Okay,
I think
Brandon?
it's really tough because, to me, there's not a clear first round quarterback in this next year's draft, and I don't think there's a clear number 1 wide receiver either that I've seen. I could be wrong, but the guys that are up there that I can think of off the top of my head, I don't think are clear number 1s. They're talented. I don't think they're, like, going to completely make a change for my franchise. So Uh, I think if I could find something like a pretty sweet deal, maybe where I could find myself a number one wide receiver, or if I think I could pull somebody in free agency, then maybe I try to rebuild my linebackers. But I I think if they were interested in that, they would have probably gone pretty aggressively after Jalen Smith. Were you guys surprised? I want to know, Terry, were you upset that the Eagles didn't go after Jalen? And Paul, are you happy that the Packers got him?
Yes, and I'm not surprised that he went there.
I mean, I would have liked to seen him sign in Philly, but the Eagles. I mean, he would have fixed a big problem that we're having at linebacker right now, and obviously a lot more talent. But he doesn't want to come to our team. He knows that he wants to go somewhere where they're going to have a chance to win. So it's an easy pick for him.
Why do you go to Green Bay?
You guys have a need, and you guys also could potentially be in the hunt at the end of the season.
Crazy talk. We don't have a quarterback.
So, well, that'll cover both of our teams for the most part there, and so I think we should get into our next week's picks. We got ourselves about a little less than half an hour left. What were you gonna say?
Do we want to touch on the Gruden thing, or we want to hold off on it another week?
Oh,
where that lands.
Man, my brain puts that so far, like I just try to run away from it. So yeah, thanks for reminding me. So yeah, man. Talk about you guys. Do you guys know there's these things called emails, and like if you write things down and you send them to people, that they keep a fucking copy of that shit. That's crazy,
Did you guys
right?
see how many emails have been screened?
Was it like 6,000 or something?
No,
I think there's 650,000 is the total amount.
650,000 emails
Oh, wow.
have been screened. The only ones that have been released are ones that had to do with John Gruden so far. Someone started a lawsuit to try to have all of them released. But I'm curious, do you guys think that John Gruden is really the only bad apple, or do you think that in those 650,000 emails that we are going to have some sweeping changes coming?
Well, he was having a conversation with former owner of the Washington football team. So I wonder how much of that matriculated down to the current owner. Because that's kind of where, to my understanding, all of that happened with the lawsuit, is because it has to do with like a labor dispute between a bunch of former Washington football team employees and Dan Snyder, because they're all saying it was such a terrible work environment. So that's where all of this, their lawyers, which to my understanding is it's like over 40 people that are involved in this, that are trying to get all of those emails released. But shit, man, like you could literally go down a checklist of how do I get canceled in 2021? And he hit like damn near every box, man.
I think there's like one, maybe two that he didn't, but what he missed, Dave Chappelle hit for sure in his last Netflix special. So between the two of them,
I still haven't watched that yet. I need to watch it.
It's pretty good. I was interested in it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I'm very curious as to who else is about to get canceled, because someone is going to get fired, and you've got all these people. And I'll admit, the first email that came out, I didn't think was that bad. I talked to a friend about it, and my friend thought that it was bad. And it's not a community that I belong in, so my opinion really doesn't matter. If another group who was mentioned in the email, if they say it's offensive to them, cool. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to tell you how you should feel about your situation, whatever that situation is. So I didn't think the first one was quite as damning, but everything, I thought it was interesting. They released the one thing, and then a couple days later, when nothing happened, they released everything else. So like someone had like those articles written and ready, and they're like, all right, we're going to just keep going until John Gruden is no more. So
and to my understanding, like when they released the second batch, they were specifically told the NFL will be following up to see how you handle this.
Yeah, but I don't think the NFL really cares about much of anything unless it's a dollar bill. I really don't. I don't think that they would have said or done anything. I have no faith at all in Roger Goodell or the NFL. And while I don't agree with the word choice, or word choices that were used. I really did love that John Gruden tore apart Roger Goodell, because someone needs to do that more often. Like the
Not for the
guy,
particular reasons that he did, but for
yeah,
many other
yes.
reasons.
Oh yes, that's why I'm
Yes.
saying not with the words that were used, not with the subjects that were covered, but Roger
Yeah.
Goodell needs
There's
to be
many
torn
other
apart
reasons why he could be eviscerated for
for
sure.
many reasons. So
Yeah.
I want to know what's coming next, because with 650,000 emails, and I I really think he could have survived one, because one email from 10 years ago, that's it's tough to say that, hey, this person said one bad thing in one email a decade ago and be like, all right, get rid of him. But when everything else came up, and when stuff was from as recent as a few years ago, and it hadn't stopped, in fact, it seemed like it had increased. So I want to know what else is coming down the pipe with 650,000 emails. I mean, what do? Do you just like load up all of them and then load up keywords and hit Command F or Control F and search for stuff, or do you just sit there and read through that many emails? Like, think about the manpower that it would take to cover 650,000 emails.
Think about how long it takes you just to go through your own email, and you don't even have that many emails.
And then
it's
you have
the
to
one
read
thing no one wants
the
to do.
contents of every one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would just take forever.
Exactly.
I feel like this is really just like the tip of the iceberg on this whole thing. There's going to be, I feel like there's going to be like eventually that petition. I feel like that there's going to be access. Like they're going to open up the records, because didn't the NFL already did the investigation on Washington? They knew that there was a bunch of stuff going on there. So like, how many other people were,
Do you think
involved in that, and that whole thing, like that they have that suit against them? I feel like that the Washington football team is, you're going to see like there's going to be a lot that's going to happen there, like within probably the next few months.
do you think the NFL has read through all 650,000? And if so, do you think they did it while they were investigating the team, or do you think that this is just new stuff that they hadn't uncovered yet?
I bet you at first they were just going through it, just kind of willy-nilly. Then they found that stuff about Goodell, and Goodell was like, I want every email read. Every single email read.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I bet you that's exactly how it went down.
Yeah.
Do you think he's that fragile? Like, do you think that
he probably. I'm sure he
Probably.
lays on beds of money and just take, and it was, at the end of the day, very happy man. But I'm sure that those guys all have a big, big, big ego. They wouldn't be where they're at if they didn't. But that's just me. But
Yeah.
all right, so we got 20 minutes to get through our picks. So let's just go quickish, and we'll see how we can get through our. Was it week 6 now?
Yeah, week 6.
All right, week 6 NFL picks.
All right, so starting off here, first game Thursday night, Bucks at the Eagles. Right now, Bucks are 7-point favorite. I know the Eagles, they won last week, and they should feel good that they finally, their defense finally stepped up, but they got a tall task in front of them. I feel
they
like
should call in sick. They
Their
should call in sick.
Their offense
Is that
may
an
be
option?
able to.
Can we take a mulligan? Can you guys just have this one?
Yeah. Their offense might score some points, because I think the Bucks secondary is pretty banged up, but this is an easy pick. I'm going with the Bucks.
Bucks.
Do you guys think, I'm going to pick the Bucks, but do you guys think the Bucks play down to their to lower competition? That's the only thing that I've heard people say is the reason why they would take the Eagles in this game.
I'm sure that they play down a little bit, at least a little bit, because let's face it, they're kind of like a LeBron led team, in that they know that they're going to get to the playoffs, and then that their season really doesn't matter until they get into the playoffs. So I think that when you're coming off a championship win, you've got the whole team back. I think there's a little less hunger there a lot of the time, because, hey, we already got our ring. Like, yeah, I want another one, but I don't have that same drive. I think that while Tom Brady doesn't have that issue, I think that there could be people on the Bucks that have that. So I think that it could definitely be a factor in them playing down and losing a couple of games they probably shouldn't. But as long as they make the playoffs, I don't think they really care.
Okay.
Also, if anybody wanted to see the Eagles run the ball, you're not going to see it on Thursday night. So just forget about it. They're just going to be throwing the entire game.
Probably.
Yeah, just this week. That's an anomaly for just this one game.
Yeah.
No, it's every week, but this week especially.
So
do you think Jeffrey Lurie really told them, "Hey, no running," and that's it, or do you think this is
at this point, I'm convinced that's the only reason as to why it could be the way that it is. But I mean, we had Shady in the past, so who the hell knows?
Yeah, I don't know either. Next up, we got the Dolphins at the Jags.
Do we have to go this game?
We don't have to do this one.
I think this could be the. Do you guys think this could be the only game the Jags can win?
I looked at their schedule. I think they've got like 5 winnable games, and this is one of them.
I'll take the Jags in this game. Make it interesting.
I'm gonna take the Jags because the Dolphins don't have Tua. And Jacksonville just played in the UK, right? And they're playing again. Like, that seems a little unfair that they get to just chill in the UK while another team has to come and adjust to the big time difference. So I think Jacksonville. I'm picking them. I think that they're going to win, but I think it's a bunch of bullshit the way that this is going down.
I'll go the opposite. I'll go Miami.
Wrong. Just
welcome back.
All right. Next up, we got Packers at the Bears. Green Bay's 4.5-point favorites.
I'm taking the Bears. I want to go first so that I can't be pegged as someone who's piggybacking.
I'll take Packers then, because if the Packers fan's not going to take them, I'll take them. It's like the thing I heard last week from Mongoose that if Eagles fans pick against the Eagles, pick the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going with Green Bay too. I don't.
Wow, you guys are dumb. Have you ever watched the Packers play a running quarterback? Like, Justin Fields is legitimately going to have more rushing yards than passing yards, I think.
I don't know. You guys put last week's quarterback in the hospital. Yeah, it was after the game, but we'll have to see what happens.
Well, that's because Andy was trying to fillet the referees to win, and but it didn't work.
Oh man. Next up we got the Bengals at the Lions. Cincinnati 3.5 point. Yeah, I'm going Bengals on this one too.
Yeah, Bengals. I hope I saw a lot of people kind of tearing up Dan Campbell a little bit for being emotional in his presser last week. And that kind of pissed me off. I really like that he cares enough. And I think that that's something that they need, because I don't think that Matt Patricia will ever be confused with. The only person less emotional than Matt Patricia is probably Belichick. So I think when you have someone, and he wanted this job and he cares about it. So I like to see when someone cares about something and gets disappointed like that. And how Detroit was it for them to be the first team to lose 2 games in one season by 50-yard plus field goals with no time remaining? That is the most Detroit stat ever.
And plus, MCDC has had he's got what? You have 3 guys on that offense, maybe, that can play football, and you have maybe 1 guy on defense. Other than that, that team has got nobody. So, I mean, what he's been able to do, nowhere. What he's been able to do with that has been, in my opinion, pretty extraordinary. Yeah, they don't have wins to show for it, but shit, they're competitive every week.
Yeah, and that's something that they didn't have for a long time.
What were you saying, Terry? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying they've definitely been playing. They've been playing hard every week. I mean, they've been in every game every game this season so far. So they'll get one, but not this week.
Is Joe Burrow playing? Do we know?
They said that they believe he's going to play.
Okay.
I heard that he's on voice rest.
Serious about it. Yeah.
I heard he's on voice rest. He probably can't be the one that tries to fillet the referees this week. Omaha. They'll just do silent count stuff and have someone else call the plays. Just take his helmet off, put it on someone else so they got the mic.
That's ignorant. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Next one.
Next up, we've got this one's easy. You got Texans at the Colts. Colts are 10-point favorites. Obviously I'm going with the Colts on this one. Houston's not good.
Davis Mills looks really good for a mid-round pick rookie. That was, or not mid-round. Was he drafted or was he a mid-round pick? I can't remember.
I think he was like a third or a fourth round.
Yeah, I thought he was a third-round pick, but I mean, he looks decent for a mid-round pick who's starting and probably shouldn't be, but there's no way that they're going to win. So I'm taking the Colts.
If anyone was going to have a neck contusion, if I was going to bet at the beginning of the year what quarterback would get a neck contusion, it would have been Mills. I would have put money down on that. Real estate alone. Yeah, I'll pick against the Texans in this one.
Brandon pick the Texans.
All right, next we got up the Rams at the Giants. 9.5-point favorites on the road. The Giants are a mess. Everyone's hurt.
Who's coming back? Who is playing for the Giants this week?
Yeah, Rams.
Yeah, I'll take Rams.
Yeah, the Rams.
We didn't even need to speculate on that. That one's going to just be an ugly game. The Rams are going to probably score like 40.
Yeah, but they've been giving up a lot of points too this year. So
they won't. I don't think they'll give up many points against the Giants.
Kadarius Toney is going to have a career game, and that's not just because I'm starting him this week.
Next up, we got the Chiefs at the Washington football team. Chiefs are a 6.5-point road favorite.
Chiefs. I'll give Taylor Heineke a lot of credit. Like, he's definitely done a lot better than I thought he was going to do with this. I mean, granted, I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but to go from the XFL to the NFL is that's pretty impressive, man. He's definitely held his own. If that defense has played even a semblance of their former selves the last couple of years, they would probably have some more wins. But I can't pick them on this one with any good faith.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I want to pick Washington because Kansas City's been such a letdown this year, but I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, what happened to Washington's defense? Like, they're giving up so many points, so much yardage. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
They didn't have a lot of turnover from like free agency or anything, did they?
No, I think they got better in free agency. They picked up a couple of upgraded. I think they upgraded at corner. And linebacker.
That to me says they just quit on their coach then.
I don't know. Yeah, that's Kansas City. I like Kansas City all the way in that one too. Next up, we got the Vikings at the Panthers. Vikings are a 1-point road favorite.
I'll let you guys take this one. What do you think?
After seeing Carolina up close last week, but I don't know if I don't think Darnold's going to be very good, and they probably aren't going to have McCaffrey back. They said that they might hold him out again, and then Minnesota might not have Dalvin either. They said he might be out for this, but I don't know. I just feel like Minnesota's got enough in their receiving game, I think, to beat the Panthers. I think J.C. Horn is hurt too for them. They are getting Gilmore, I think, this week. He got to be out another week? I don't know. I
thought he only had to be out till week 4. I could be wrong.
Oh, he could. Then he could potentially be active then this week. So
I thought it was week 6, so I don't remember.
It might.
It was
be
either
6.
4 or 6.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Minnesota in this one.
I'll say if Gilmore doesn't start, especially, I'll definitely take Minnesota.
Well, you got Justin Jefferson, who looks good. You got Adam Thielen, who looks good. And you got Kirk Cousins, who is oodles and oodles of noodles better than Matt Ryan. So I'm gonna roll with the Vikings on this one.
Damn, I haven't thought about oodles and noodles in a long time.
I think it's because I was thinking of Blue Streak with Dave Chappelle since I just watched Chappelle's special last night. Hands up! Where? Put him on the oodles and noodles.
So next one we got up could be a game of the week. We got Chargers at Ravens. Ravens are 3-point favorites at home. So I feel
What
like
time is the
this is going
game?
to be. Hold on. I think it's a 1:00 game.
Ooh.
Bringing it up.
That trend has been bucked this year, though.
I'll roll with the Chargers on this one.
It's a 1:00 start.
1:00 start.
I mean,
I know
Justin
you don't like those West Coast teams coming across for the 1:00 start, but
Herbert's been a man like that has just been completely unleashed this year. So I'm not picking against him right now. So I'm gonna roll with the Chargers.
And I'm with you. I think especially with the Ravens having that kind of big comeback. I don't know, but that's going to be a hell of a game.
That is a good game. I can't believe it's a noon game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll with the Chargers because Justin Herbert is playing like a man possessed right now. Especially with like the emotional comeback. Usually that's kind of a letdown the next game. Damn, that's gonna be a good game. There's no like big injuries that I'm like not thinking of, right? For either team. Like nothing comes to mind for either one.
No.
Yeah, then I'm gonna roll the Chargers on that one then.
All right, Chargers sweep for us. Next up, we got the Cards at the Browns. Another pretty good game. Cleveland's a 3-point favorite at home. After watching Herbert shred their secondary, and they're so injured in the secondary for Cleveland, I feel like Arizona could have a field day on offense if they, especially with Kyler Murray can buy time if he has to. I'm going with Arizona.
I'm gonna do the same, but real quick before Brandon throws in. Do you remember when JJ Watt said he wanted to go to the Cardinals because he wanted to play for a contender? And literally every person in the United States was like, you're an idiot. Mm-hmm. How wrong were we?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't really think that he was going to be at a point that he could really help out that much. Like, I thought maybe he would for a couple games and then likely get hurt. I mean, props to him for being relevant so far, through the several games. And him opposite Chandler Jones has been something pretty interesting because Watt can play the run and Jones can pass rush, which has been a great 1-2 punch for them.
I did, before you guys make your picks, I did see Chandler Jones is going to miss the game because of the COVID situation. I guess he has it.
I don't care. I'm taking Arizona.
Okay. I'm not changing my pick either. I'm just saying.
Yeah, same. I'm not picking mine either. So we'll still do Cardinals on that one for me as well.
You just got to have JJ play one old school game and that's it. And I think that he can do that.
Yeah. Next up, Vegas at Denver. Denver's a 3.5-point favorite at home. After everything that's happened and all the, this whole thing, I don't see how the Raiders are going to come out to play. I'm taking Denver.
It looked like the Raiders quit last week on Gruden. So with Gruden gone and not having new time to really do anything, I'm not taking the Raiders at all. So I think Denver's really going to be it. I don't think this is going to be a close game. Like, I think this is going to be where Derek Carr looks like David.
How great would it be, though, if the Raiders just came out and they just fucking balled out and they were like, God damn, Gruden's gone. The shackles have been released. Like,
I think you're more likely to get that out of the Jaguars after they fire Urban Meyer.
Probably, yeah.
But I think you're right. That would be hilarious.
I'll take Denver in this one, but I'll still be looking for the Raiders to come out and ball out. And if that happens, I will be a giggling son of a bitch.
we all took the Broncos. The Raiders are going to win this like 56-7.
Right.
It's going to be embarrassing.
Next up, we got Dallas at New England. Dallas is a 3.5-point road favorite.
It destroys me on the inside to say this, but I think that Micah Parsons and I can't remember his first name, but the other Diggs brother.
Diggs, yeah.
Yeah, I think that those two by themselves could destroy what Mac Jones has been doing. So it pains me to say this, but I'm pretty sure the Cowboys are going to destroy them.
Yeah, Diggs has been super special this year, and I thought like last year he started to look like he kind of had an idea as to what was going on, and now this year has been pretty impressive. So
he has twice as many interceptions as anybody else in the league. He has 6 in 5 games.
yeah,
That is a crazy. Like, I mean, all of these records that are going to end up getting broken over the next few years because of the extra one game this year, and I'm sure we're about to move to 18 inside the next 3 years. But all these records that are going to get broken don't really matter. But it almost never happens where you have someone with double-digit interceptions in a year. And this, like the last person that I can remember was Casey Hayward when he was with the Packers. I'm sure there's been someone since then, but I'm almost positive that guy, as long as he doesn't get hurt, is going to get to at least 10 interceptions this year, and that's nuts.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's you could have years where you don't even crack double digits. So that's
exactly like
crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's something else. I mean, I love Parsons too, man. Those two guys are going to be a problem for the Birds for a long time, but they're both good players. So it is what it is.
You guys, I don't think we touched on it. Did you see what Jerry Jones said about Micah Parsons? Like
No.
that disturbed me on a molecular level.
What did he say?
Yeah, I didn't.
He's
see
like,
that.
he's as pure as mother's milk. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, just shut up. That's not okay.
I don't even know if he knows what day it is, and he's probably on a sodium high from his McDonald's breakfast. So just give him a break.
That is not McDonald's. It is Whataburger, and Whataburger is great. But who the fuck says something like that? Like,
really old people who like to sit on rockers on their front porch and say disgruntled shit to their neighbors. That's who.
As pure as mother's milk. What is going on?
All right, moving on.
Moving on. Sunday night game. This one's, I don't know. The Seattle at Pittsburgh. No Russ. Geno Smith is their starter. Yeah, Pittsburgh all the way on this one.
Why can't they flex a game? Because this is going to be so boring.
Yeah, it's going to be super boring,
dude. They should switch this. They should switch this in the Ravens
and any other
Chargers.
game. Any other, I don't, you can say, you can, whatever. Any other game would be better than this one. This is terrible. This.
We know who he's going to pick next.
All right, so we're all in Pittsburgh.
One more game, right? Yeah.
All right, sorry, I'm filling this up. All right, Buffalo at Tennessee is the Monday night. Buffalo 5.5 point favorite on the road, as they should be. I think Buffalo dominates this game.
Yeah, Buffalo. Man, are they your new favorites now that the Chiefs have looked so bad? Are they the new team to win it this year? What do you guys think?
They're definitely the team to represent the AFC. And I mean, not to brag or anything, but I've been on this train for years. Like since Josh Allen came out of Wyoming, I was like, you know what? Those Bills, they are going places, and it's all going to be because of that. But seriously, the defense looks amazing. They've shut out 2 people already and won both games by at least 30. Buffalo is hands down the class of the AFC right now.
You guys think over a dozen fans through tables this weekend?
Just one dozen.
Mongoose said if they win the whole thing, him and his kid are going through a table.
Oh man.
So we all picking Buffalo on that one?
For sure.
That still feels weird to say, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because my entire life, they've just not been super relevant. So
that's because their entire life they didn't have someone of this caliber like Josh Allen. Glorious. I called it I said he was going to do great things, and
He uses
you
that
guys
as
said
his
I was an
pillowcase
idiot.
at night.
No one said it could be done. You guys were all over me, like, Paul, you're so dumb. Why are you riding with Josh Allen? I was like, just never mind your opinions. They're worthless.
Yes, and the revisionist history. All right, guys. Well, we ended up getting all our picks in. I want to thank you guys for coming in again for another week of the Muffed Punt Podcast. Make sure you hit like, make sure you subscribe, leave a little comment in the comment section down below. Hit the bell, let us know of what you like, and the bell will let you know when we drop a new episode. Paul, man, thanks for coming by. Thanks for being back. Nice to see your face. Terry, always good to see you, bud. You guys will hopefully see everybody again next week, but I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Anything to say in closing?
Have a good one, guys.
Matt Ryan sucks.
Take it easy. Bye now.